Now, in a few moments, I'm going to be handing over to the wonderful Chris, but I met Chris, oh God, 4 or so years ago. Is it 4 or 5 years ago now? 4 or 5 years ago, I met Chris up in Shenzhen.
Adrian, I think it's like 3, 4 years ago, I think. The first time that we met here in Shenzhen, right?
Yes, yes.
Or
I remember trying to meet coaches and shouting out to coaches, and like there were all these coaches, and then when I shared and said, come on, let's get all the coaches together, it was like crickets. And then Chris came, and it's like, yes! And not just that, I heard about her training, and since then as well, I've given Chris a couple of clients. So some people have called me up, and I thought they were more suitable for Chris than for me. So that's the way a lot of coaches work, especially here. You know, the lady wanted a hand and assistance, and I liked the person, and maybe I could have helped, but I knew Chris would be able to do a much better job. I knew some of the results and some of the clients that she had worked with before, so it was really easy for me to introduce the two. But there was 2 different times this happened. I kept getting feedback back from the person, and the feedback I got was, I met Chris, we're starting it. And throughout the period, I kept getting messages from two different people send me messages continually. And then later on, like Christmas time, I got a thank you card from one of them saying how much Chris had changed their lives. And I was just like, all right, that's good.
And thank you so much for the trust.
Yeah, well, it wasn't hard because you had done some hard training, and you went in and did the do. You didn't just read a book somewhere. You went in and did the real thing. So I knew you'd be able to do a great job. And I see Marcos coming in. Is Maria coming in as well?
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, so Lewis, and I'm going to guess Marcos is your son, and you have a daughter as well, Maria, who's in the Gold Coast, yeah. Australia.
We have 4 kids: Mariana, Marcos, and Eduardo. Eduardo is 18, but he was working right now, so he cannot come. And we have Marcos and Mariana. They are in Australia, and we have another. My stepson is in Portugal, so we are all over the world.
All time zones covered.
So
Chris, I'll shut up. I want to thank everyone for coming here. Really thank you for coming here. You're going to love tonight's subject, and there'll be some stuff in here as well that you can share with your friends and others as well. So thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing the gifts of tonight with other people. Chris, I'll hand it over to you. I'll shut up, but I'll be here on mute.
All right. So Adrian, I have a little surprise for you. That is exactly 1 year ago, January 24th, 2020, I went to Bali for the NLP training invited by my coach, Adrian. And exactly 1 year later, January 24th, 2021, I am here again, invited by Adrian to be with you as a speaker. I don't believe in coincidence, so I think there is a meaning behind that, and I am sure it's a good meaning, and I'm really feeling a very good energy coming from all these things. I think Estrelita is not here, right, Adrian? I'd like to thank her for her support. Guys, that said, please make sure you have something to take notes, because this is a hands-on workshop, okay? So your cell phones, notebooks, whatever. And, you know, 1 year has 8,760 hours. And this workshop will take 90 minutes of your year. But it can make a lot of difference in the whole year. So I'm inviting you right now to give yourself permission to be fully here for the next 90 minutes. Let's move from our heads and let's get connected to our hearts, to our intuition. If it's okay for you, you can close your eyes for a while. Focus on your breath and ask yourself 3 questions. Where am I right now? What I am doing here? And what do I want to get from these 90 minutes? Where am I right now? What I am doing here? What do I want to get from these 90 minutes? Be conscious about yourself. You can open your eyes right now. And this is a picture of someone who has climbed a mountain and stopped to appreciate the view. People sometimes they feel frustrated because they don't stop to appreciate what they already have. I know it's part of human beings' needs to want more and more and to keep growing. But we cannot lose focus on what we already have. What I'm talking here about gratitude. Because we cannot start a workshop about 2021 goals without being thankful for what we have achieved in 2020. And why is gratitude so important? If you look from a biological perspective, because it makes our brain to release dopamine and serotonin, that are hormones responsible for our emotions, and they make us feel good. But you have also the spiritual perspective. What I prefer, because I'm sure there is some force out there helping us. So the first activity of this workshop is to think about at least one thing that you are grateful for in 2020. I would love if you could raise your hand and share out loud, or you can just type in the chat, or if you prefer just to keep to yourself, no problem. And I am going to start, okay? These are my feet on this black sand beach in Bali. In Bali, we have beaches with black sand, really black, it's not brown, it's black sand. I am very grateful that in 2020, I went to Bali for that NLP training. And I'm not saying that because of Adrian, because this training was mind-changing. And I reconnected to myself there. And at the end of the year, 2020, I got my ICF-PCC. What leads me to this moment that I am right now with you guys. So for me, this is a very special moment. It's one of the moments that I have to be thankful for in 2020. And now it's your turn. What are you grateful for in 2020? I cannot see the chat. So
a couple of things are coming up already, such as being grateful for being alive. by Japan, actually. And I'm grateful for the redirection of my life. Also that it means I won't ever have to grade work again after June.
Great. Somebody else wants to share what you are grateful for?
I was grateful for being safe in Shenzhen with my family. When we have the problem with the virus, we were safe, and I'm very grateful for that. Yeah, and sad for the rest of the world not being okay. But we have to be grateful for that. We are safe.
Yeah, you're totally right. First thing that we are here, we are safe. Nobody else? Okay.
Sorry, another one's up there. I'm grateful for the ability to see myself anew. I feel empowered and connected to nature. I'm grateful for my friends also encouraged me to learn the language. I'm grateful for being introduced to Adrian's program and meeting all of you. And I'm very grateful that despite a lockdown, a lot of people are isolated and yet we can come here on a Sunday and kind of meet and hang out like friends and talk about great things. I'm grateful for 100 days quarantine for Reflect. That's a gentleman here. He went through 100 days of quarantine.
100 days?
Yep, that's Anthony. Yep. Grateful for being stuck at home and experience my parents in their retirement phase. Isn't that wonderful? That's all the chat window.
Yeah, I'm grateful for my
Who is this?
yeah, I'm grateful for all my business network companies that have been pulling me up, and yeah, and all the chambers teaching me how to do my network, and yeah,
There's a big echo coming through, Peter. It's looping, but we do hear you. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Yeah. Thank you guys for sharing. So let's keep going. I want to show you a video, and probably you have heard about this guy. For sure, I think Adrian knows him.
I wasn't ready. It's freezing, I can't feel my hands. I have no arms and no legs, but I'm very thankful that I have my little chicken drumstick here. People freak out when they see me for the first time. It's so cool. I was at a water slide all by myself. Everyone obviously at the bottom of the slide is looking up and waiting for other people to come down, and here I come and they're freaking out. They're like, you know, like this. And I was so tempted to look at myself and go, what happened? You know? And there were times where I sort of looked at my life and thinking, well, I can't do this and I can't do that. And you keep on concentrating on the things that you wish you had or the things that you wish you didn't have. And you sort of forget what you do have. And there's no point, I believe, in my life where I wish I had arms and legs, I wish I had arms and legs, I wish I had arms and legs, because wishing won't help. But what I've seen in life are just a couple key principles, and the first thing that I've seen is to be thankful. It's hard to be thankful, man. I tell you, when I was 8 years old, I sort of summed up my life and thought, I'm never going to get married, I'm not going to have a job, I'm not going to have a life of purpose. What kind of a husband am I going to be if I can't even hold my wife's hand? But I realized I may not have hands to hold my wife's hand, but when the time comes, I'll be able to hold her heart. I don't need hands to hold her heart.
Adrian, have you ever met him? Because he's Australian.
No, not face to face anyway, but I've seen his work. I've seen this video 2 or 3 times and I almost had a tear.
Yeah. So his name is Nick Vujicic. He's an Australian guy, and he was born without arms and legs. Why I'm showing that to you guys, because people like Nick, they remind me that we always find a way. He tells that when he was around 10 years old, he come back from school one day, really frustrated, and he looked at the mirror and he asked himself, Nick, what do you have that is good, that no one can change or argue with? Give me something to hold on, just one thing. And he said that he realized that he had some good looking eyes. And he has really sweet eyes. And he became this inspiration for a lot of people, especially for young teenagers that don't accept themselves and their bodies. He got married to this beautiful girl. He has 4 kids. So no matter what kind of problems we have, we also have the power to find a solution. At Shenzhen University, where I studied Mandarin for 2 years, there is a sign that I was every day to go to my classroom. I passed by this sign saying, where there is a will, there is a way. So that said, let's write down our list of goals or dreams for 2021. But I would like, guys, that you write down from Nick's perspective, this perspective that everything is possible, a perspective that I will find a way. So don't judge yourself. Don't judge your dreams. Don't be afraid to wish something that seems impossible. Just write it down. And don't forget that the greatest challenges are hidden behind our mind. So give them space to get out. I'm going to put some music, a song right now, so I can give you time to write down the list, okay? The song has kind of 4 minutes, so you have 4 minutes to write down a list of goals and dreams, okay? Okay. Great, guys.
Exatamente, porque.
Now, guys, let's get familiar to our list. I don't want you to share your list. This is your list, okay? To get familiar to our list, let's take our goals out of a sheet of paper or our phones and bring them closer to our hearts. So let's start by categorizing your goals. I want you to find out which ones are related to personal growth, which ones are related to career growth, which ones are about leisure, which ones are about relationships, and which ones are about contribution. Notice which aspect of your life you are more focused on this year. Perhaps you will notice like leisure goals are more, you have more leisure goals than other goals. So maybe this year is a year that you need to relax or give yourself time to be with yourself or with your family. Maybe you find out that you don't have any relationship goals. What does it mean? There is one thing that I would like to suggest to you is that if you don't have a contribution goal, please include at least one. Because like gratitude, before getting new things in our lives, we need to give back first. So don't forget to add at least one goal related to contribution. Contribution means giving back, not only money, but sometimes our time, our tolerance, our patience, how you are going to give back this year. Is it clear for everybody? I'm going to give you like 1 minute. I think in 1 minute, we are able to understand our list. Okay, so now we have a list of goals and we are starting to understand how we want our 2021 to look like. And maybe you are starting to get a little anxious about it, like, am I going to get there, the other side? So this is the right time for us to have a conversation with our unconscious mind. And we have some NLP experts here, like Adrian. So Adrian, sorry if I'm going to tell something that you already know or that I'm not very precise, but I think I need to bring this conversation with our unconscious mind. So probably a lot of you know that our brain is like an iceberg, that 10% is here, our conscious mind, and 90% is our unconscious mind. And our decisions are taken by our conscious mind, but they are taken based in what is in our unconscious mind. Our beliefs, our habits, our emotions, our values, our intuition. If you go to a restaurant, you eat the food, and the next day you're feeling really sick, probably you cannot pass by this restaurant anymore because you're going to feel sick. Even if you find like, okay, I was pregnant, I didn't know. Anyways, this restaurant is impregnated by this bad emotion. Affect impregnated with a strong emotion remains registered in our unconscious. I don't know why. I just think that conscious is here and unconscious is here. So I'm always all the time I'm doing this. You know, who here doesn't remember exactly what they were in 9/11, when 9/11 happened? I know exactly where I was. I was in a meeting in my client. I know when I saw the first plane coming and then the second plane come, but I don't remember what I ate yesterday. See the difference? So knowing that our unconscious mind works like that, it means that you have some control of it, right? I would like to introduce to you the 6 rules of mind that I learned from Marisa Peer, that is a famous hypnotherapist. I liked her, and she made sense to me, but she probably learned from Erickson, Napoleon Hill, Tony Robbins, but I hope it makes sense to you too. So I'm going to share the 6 rules of mind with you, okay? First one, your mind works to move you from pain to pleasure. People that achieve their goals, they link pleasure to whatever they decide to do. I have this tattoo here. Tattoo is something that hurts a lot, but we add so many pleasure to it that we forget the pain. So if you want to lose 5 kilos and you are constantly telling yourself how hard it's going to be, if you keep remind yourself of the things that you won't be able to eat, what do you think will happen? What you are telling to your unconscious mind? So add pleasure to your goals. Think about the pleasure you will feel when you achieve it and forget the pain. The second rule, the mind can't hold conflicting beliefs. Conflicting beliefs, they cancel each other and you keep like stuck. I used to have a conflicting belief about my coaching, and I think maybe Adrian is going to remember that, because I used to think that helping people should be something that comes out of generosity. I am Brazilian. I come from a Catholic, poor country where people help each other. So I have this in my mind, this belief in my mind. But I also wanted to make coaching as a living. I want to get money from coaching. I think I deserve. But how can I make money if I don't think I deserve that money? Because I need to operate from generosity. In my case, I found a midterm solution. I offer free sessions to some people in Brazil that cannot pay. But I do charge for my coaching sessions in China. So check your goals and see if there is any conflicting belief working against them. Check if you need to get rid of a limiting belief or if you have to find a midterm like I had. The third rule is the mind loves what is familiar. Guys, to achieve your goals, you probably need to make some changes, right? It means that you need to get out of your comfort zone. But our minds love what is familiar. If someone decides to wake up at 5 a.m. every day to meditate, like Johnny, our colleague, he does. First day is going to be okay. Second day, a little bit harder. Third day, you skip. Fourth day, you forget, and you are back to your old routine. Sometimes people have a problem that they don't solve because the problem is very familiar. They know exactly when it's going to happen, how they are going to feel, and how they're going to solve it. It feels safer to have a problem and know how to live with the problem than to go to an expected solution that's now it's out of their comfort zone. Marisa Peer, she says that our minds need 21 days to get used to a new routine. I never tried that. I don't know. But I think that knowing that we have this place in our mind that's a familiar place, we can start to be conscious at the moment when we think about giving up. Everybody's okay until here? Anybody wants to share something? If you want to share, just put on the chat, and then Adrian helps me to read. Now I'm going to share a picture with you, okay? Look at this image. I am sure I can see Valeria right now. I can see a few people here. So most people are feeling uncomfortable with this spider that is so hairy. And there is this thing like teeth. I don't know what is that, and full of eyes. And this gives us like, what? But I can also share with you this picture, a creamy, delicious chocolate cake. And perhaps you have your mouth watering right now. The fact is that our minds are a little bit silly because they don't differentiate what is real from what isn't real. Our imagination is more powerful than our logic. People that are scared of airplanes, including myself, although we know that's the safest way to travel, we still are afraid because we are letting our imagination to take over. So what does it mean? It means that if you really imagine yourself achieving your goal, your mind will start to work to take you there because your mind doesn't know what's reality, what's not. You see a picture of a cake and you start to salivating. So give space to your imagination and let the imagination talk be louder than the logical mind's talk. The fifth one is what you expect tends to be realized. Women here that got pregnant, when we are pregnant, it seems that all the women are pregnant because we see pregnant women all over the place. What is our reality right now because of COVID? I think there are a lot of people pregnant right now, but it's another thing. When you decide to buy a new car, let's say a blue Tesla, it seems that all the cars on the street are blue Teslas, right? And what is that? When you expect something, you focus on that. So it's not like the universe is helping you and there's magic power. No, you're just focused. You're focused in all the opportunities. You are focused in all the things, all the chances that pop up in front of you, and you take them. If you wake up in the morning and you say to yourself, I'm going to wear this white t-shirt and these jeans, blue jeans, you're going to open your closet and you're going to find them. But if you don't know what you're going to wear, especially we women, we are going to try put on a lot of clothes, and at the end we didn't find anyone that suits us. Nick Fujisik, the guy with no arms and no legs, he said that he's already thinking about how he's going to take his daughters to the church for them to get married. He's already expecting that. And the last one, the mind learns by repetition. And what happens here, guys? We tend to keep our goals to ourselves because we fear to failure in front of everybody. We fear people judging us. We fear to feel like we are not good enough. How can I dare to dream about something like that? It's funny, today I was watching the UFC because of my kids, because they like it, they love it, and And I start to like it too. And there's this guy, Chandler, and he won the fight against another guy, I think his name is Hooker, that was the one that should win the fight. And there is this Brazilian journalist, referring to the guy who lost. He said, the fear of losing can't be stronger than the desire to win. The guy was so protective, afraid of he was going to lose from a new guy, that he lost. So don't keep your goal just to yourself, just in your mind, where nobody can see, even you cannot see that. Don't be afraid that it isn't going to happen. Do the opposite. Tell everybody about your goal. Tell them as it was already real. When you repeat to other people, you are repeating to yourself, and it becomes more and more tangible. Some people will tell you, oh, that's great. Other people will tell you all the place that you can, something wrong can happen. And that's okay, because maybe they are helping you to find out where the goal can have some problems. The fact is, when you start to talk about your dream, it isn't a dream anymore. It is actually happening. And now this is my vision board for 2020. So I did that in January 2020. I'm not expecting you to read all these things, okay? But I want you to know that I put that just in front of me in my desk. It's just behind my laptop. So I see that every day. I see that every day means repetition. And I use my imagination to create these goals. And these pictures that I chose give me a lot of pleasure to see them. And it creates expectation. And I can feel the emotions that come from all these pictures in front of me. And guys, I helped my kid's nanny and her daughter in Brazil. They are very poor people. But I started coaching them, and they start to have English class for free because they met someone that knew me here. Doesn't matter. I help them. I start to post on Instagram. I start in Bali. Every day in Bali, I was like taking pictures and posting my Instagram. I don't have 1 million followers. I just have 800 followers, but I'm getting there. Adrian also knows I published my first training on Udemy. And now I have more than 1,000 students. I start to work with my husband, what I consider a miracle, because you are not able to agree to each other in anything. And we start to work together this year. I taught several workshops, and there is something that I decided to include as a dream, just a dream that was like, it's not going to happen too soon. That's to give a TED Talk. And I was really surprised when the school of my kids called me and said, I'd like you to give us a TEDx. I said, no, great. Yeah. That never happened because of COVID. The school was shut, so just online classes. And all my board in the left side, also with all my family together and friends, didn't have because of a COVID, but doesn't matter. The right side happened. So guys, don't forget, the first 3 rules work against you. Your mind works to move you from pain to pleasure. The mind can't hold conflicting beliefs, and the mind loves what's familiar. But the 3 next, you can use in your favor. Imagination is more powerful than logic. What you expect tends to be realized. And the mind learns from repetition. And I would like to hear from you a little bit. What do you think up to now? Nobody wants to share?
Hey, Chris, I'll kick it off. We just had a discussion about expectations, which is your second last one there. And some people were like, well, that's great to read, but what if I'm going for a job? What if I'm going for a new job or a big goals? How does that work in respect to what you expect tends to be realized? Because if I set myself up, I'm going to get this job and I don't get it, ooh la la.
Yeah. I believe personally that every outcome, everything, every fact in life has an outcome this is positive. So if I apply for a job with all my expectations and it doesn't happen, what can I learn from that? What is my next step? What can I build based on this learning from not getting there? This is a mindset. If you have a mindset that's going to focus on the negative, maybe you're going to take this expectation that was not attended and say to yourself, okay, I'm a failure, I'm not going to try again. But if you have a mindset that's focused on the positive, you're going to say, okay, maybe this job was not for me. Maybe I'm going to find a better one. Maybe I need to have more skills before applying for a company like that. For me, it's a matter of how do I face failure? And as Tony Robbins says, there is no failure, there are results, and results can always be changed and improved, right?
100%. And something else that came up when we were discussing it, because we were discussing it for like half an hour, is also that by expecting to get the job, you might have some emotional pain, but you got a higher chance of getting it. And that's right on with your point. So love the points.
My point is that you are focused. We are moving from China to Europe this year. We don't know which country we are going. We don't know where my husband is going to find a job. But I keep saying that we are going to Europe. I don't say maybe I'm going. We don't know if we are going. I say we are going to Europe. And where he's going to work. I know he's applying for a very nice job here. And we are expecting the best. And he's really focused. So every time that there is something that's interesting, he's there. He knows he wants. So that's the big difference. Is the focus that you give, that you turn the focus on what you are expecting to happen.
Yeah, and I feel like, sorry, just talking about that, about expectations, I feel like sometimes we expect something, like you get your focus to get a job, for example, like Adrian was saying. And sometimes during the process, you actually realize there wasn't the job you want for yourself at the time. So maybe you are really focused on that. Maybe you don't get that specific job, but then you get another job where you learn something about yourself. You learn that you actually wanted another job. And I feel like if you stay focused on getting something out of that, I feel like it's worth it anyway.
Great. Thanks, Fernando. Fernando is my stepson. He's the one in Portugal. He's the one that was not believing that he could move from Brazil to Portugal. And then he had some coaching sessions. And here he is. Yeah.
That's true.
I'm very proud of it. I tell everybody. Anybody else? Oops. Let me try to find you guys here. Anybody else wants to share? Nobody in the chat, Adrian?
I know the chat window is clear at the moment, and I've copied some of your key points and reshared them, but the chat window is clear at the moment.
Okay, guys. All right, so let's keep going. Now, I invite you to use your intuition to choose the most important goal in your list. And why do I need to choose just one? Because we don't have time in this workshop to work in all of them. That's the reason. So choose one. And how do I know which one's the most important? You can use any criteria that you want. For example, perhaps this year you need to make more money. So what is the goal that will help you to get there faster? Or this year, I really need to rest. But if you don't have any criteria, a good criteria is, what is the goal that if I achieve it, all the other goals will be easier to achieve? So what the goal can play like a lever, that this goal, if I achieve it, can help me to achieve the others.
I'm not quite sure if this is a real question, but in the chat window, is that like choosing which of your children is your favorite?
No, it's just because I need one kid right now to use as an example, but you can work in all your kids, okay? And I'm really happy that somebody is referring to their goals as their children, because it's so powerful, right? What do you do with your children? You raise them, you take care of them. That's wonderful. And guys, I can assure you that just by doing that, just by choosing the goal is already happening, because this is not just something written on a piece of paper anymore. It's becoming reality. You just pick this goal. Okay, everybody ready? All right. So now I'd like you to tell you a story of my experience, okay? I have a cousin that I don't get along with very well for a long time. And 10 years ago, I was in my first coaching training, and the coach teacher called me on the stage to be her coachee and to talk about this problem in front of literally 100 people. I had a microphone, and it was really very intense conversation. So after almost 1 hour of conversation, she asked me why it was important for me to get along with this cousin. And I replied, because I want my children to understand that family comes first, that the support of the family has to be unconditional. And the coach teacher said, okay. So we are talking here about leaving a legacy. I said, yeah, it's not, my objective is not get along with her, but it's to leave a legacy to my kids. And guys, today, when I meet this cousin, I still meet her and I still have a problem with her, but I do my best to get along with her because of my legacy. And that changes everything. So guys, what does make this goal that you chose important to you? What is underneath the goal? Go down the stairs of your mind and get there. Go deeper and think why this goal is important to me. Sometimes people want $1 million. Why do you want $1 million? Because I want to have a big house and a boat. And why do you have a big house and a boat? Because I want to be with my family. Oh, so the goal is not about the money, but it's about the family. Anybody wants to share? I'm going to assume that everybody's so into their own list that they don't want to share. Okay, so I'll keep going. The tendency of human being is to look at what we don't have yet. Of course, to guarantee that we'll be protected, that we are not vulnerable, and also to make sure that we are growing, so we need to have more and more and more. But imagine that your goal is to move to Netherlands in 2021. And this is to my kids that they are here, and I'm talking to them right now, okay? So sorry guys that I'm using them as an example. So if you wanna move to Netherlands in 2021, and you think that I don't speak the language, I don't know anybody there. Oh, I hate cold weather. Oh, that's the most expensive city in Europe. What are the chances that your mind is going to take you there? So much pain involved. So what we need to do is to look first. It's not to look, it's to look first at what we already have before thinking about what we still need to achieve. What do you already have that can help you to achieve your goal? It can be material things, it can be your skills, it can be your emotions, it can be people around you. I am sure you're very resourceful. Try to find the resources that you need, that you already have to achieve your goals. Should I keep going? I'll keep going. I love this cartoon. I really love it. As we talked before, creating objectives is part of our lives, right? An old person, really old person without a goal will die soon. I can talk about my mom. My mom is 87 years old, and her goal right now is to have the house prepared for when we can go back to Brazil to visit her. And that is what kept her alive during this time of COVID. She cannot get out of the house. Brazil is a mess, but she's like preparing the bedroom and the sheets for the kids and everything. So we will never stop to create objectives. So the most important thing about achieving an objective is what we have to change in ourselves to be able to achieve it. Going back to my example with my cousin, to get along with her, because I wanted to leave a legacy to my kids, I had to learn to be more empathic and more humble to accept her. And these are things that I have with me until now. So my objective is not to get along with her anymore, but I learned to be more empathic, to have more humbleness. And these two things can help me to achieve other goals that I'm going to have in my entire life. So the question now is, who we will become after you have reached your goal? This is a very subjective question. Who you are going to become after you achieve your goal? Anybody wants to say something? share anything, share an experience. How many people do we have, Adrian?
Well, probably about 28, 29.
35.
But this picture's gold. And we're often so busy looking at the material thing, but this, who will you become, is so critical.
And that's why I love that you have changed it. We are supposed to. We are supposed to change. And the changing is always good. All right. Now I'm going to get a little bit philosophical, okay? Because I have been taking philosophy classes. Because of COVID, we have all these things are online right now, so we have a lot of chance to take other trainings. In this training that I'm having, philosophy, the teacher said something that was like, oh my God, people sometimes can seem like a basket of unfulfilled wishes. He said, we are baskets of unfulfilled wishes. We have a lot of wishes, but we have a lot of desires, but they are there. They don't become true. We have a lot of dreams that don't become true. And you know why? Because we lack will of power. And look how interesting it is. This chart is not so complicated as it looks like, okay? According to Hinduism, and I think we have people here that are from this religion. These are the 7 principles of man. So the square rectangle there is our material part of us, our material dimension. So we have our body, okay? We have the energy that comes from our body. We have our emotions, and we have our concrete mind, where are our thoughts and our wishes. Our goals are in this place right now. But in the spiritual dimension, we have our intelligence or wisdom, we have our intuition, and we have our will. I got really impressed because thousands of years ago, they were already talking about the willpower that lives in our spiritual dimension, and that makes our wishes to come true. So our willpower that we talk about, like, oh, I don't have willpower. It is the highest level of our spiritual dimension. And I think this is so beautiful. And the philosophy always says that the essence of human beings are our virtues. Virtues like courage, honesty, integrity, respect, justice. And discipline is also a virtue. And willpower requires discipline. And discipline requires time management, right? So simple. Everything nowadays is a matter of, I don't have time. But if something is really important to you, you need to make time for it. And what can help you to make time for your goal? I'm going to share with you a video of a Brazilian guy called Christian Barbosa, who created what he calls the Triad of Time methodology. There is a book. I don't know if there is the book in English. Maybe there is. And this is a short video that will explain much faster than me, okay? So let me play it for you.
Presenting the Triad of Time methodology, which divides all the activities you do into 3 different categories: important, urgent, and circumstantial. These 3 ways to categorize time form how effectively time can be used. No one activity can fit into multiple categories. They can only be important, urgent, or circumstantial. Now think about your life as a trip, and you have 3 different ways to your destination. On the important route are all the activities that bring you a positive result, and you have enough time to accomplish. You have hours, days, or weeks to finish the activity. On the urgent route are all the activities that have a short time frame to finish, or no time at all. You must do it now. These activities pop up during the day and may result in stressing you out. This is the way with a lot of traffic, and the exact path is a little uncertain, but you need to pass through it to get back on track. On the circumstantial route, you only see the unnecessary activities that you do at your convenience and only waste your time, but sometimes you have to do. This way will not take you anywhere, brings you 0 results, and leaves you frustrated. Every one of your activities should be analyzed and categorized into these 3 options in order to exercise your brain and use a productivity model. It's important to know which way you're going to ensure the final stop on your trip is the destination that you planned. Presenting.
Okay, so this is the triad of time. That's about understanding what tasks are important, what are urgent, and what are circumstantial, okay? So the tasks that are urgent usually are the ones that we didn't plan in advance. So they become urgent, lack of planning. Or sometimes are the ones that we didn't know how to say no to avoid a conflict with other people and to be nice. So I keep doing things for other people that I don't need to do. Or you didn't delegate because you think you can do better and it will take a lot of time for me to explain to another person how to do, so better I do myself. The circumstantial tasks are the ones that doesn't add any value to our lives. For example, long, unnecessary meetings, time spending in social media, just scrolling down in a very passive way, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. Too much Netflix, oversleeping. All these things can be like leisure time, no problem, but we know exactly when they are not adding anything anymore, and we are just wasting time. And the tasks that are important are the ones that will bring results to your life, are the ones that are important to you and not to others, are things that are usually connected to our body, working out, our mind, learning things, our emotion, relationships, our spirit, meditation, are things that make us feel alive. These are the important things. And I am sure that your list of goals is certainly in the important category. There is no way, guys, to live only within the important category. We are not in a bubble. We have problems happening or urgent things happening. Sometimes, yeah, we spend a lot of time on Instagram. The 3 of them make part of our life. But the objective here is to reduce time spent with urgent and circumstantial. So we need to plan what is important so they don't become urgent. And we need to protect the important task from what is circumstantial. I'm going to repeat that. We need to plan the important so they don't become urgent. And you need to protect the important from what is circumstantial. That said, your goal that is in the important category, we need to allocate time for it right now. Today is a Sunday evening. Let's start to practice that. What is the next step, the first step that you need to take towards your objective? And when is it going to happen? When are we going to do it? You don't need to write a lot of steps. Just make sure right now that you write something that you're going to do during this week towards your objective, because it is important, right? It's a kid, as somebody said here. And one more thing, don't forget that in your to-do list, the important tasks should come first. In our to-do list, we have the urgent and the important all together. And we tend to go to the urgent first. And the important, oh, it's so important, but never time. We don't never have time for that. Start with the important. Tell yourself, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to give myself 1 hour to do that. And do what is possible to do in that 1 hour. Does it make sense to you? Okay. And then, guys, we arrived to the end of this workshop. And I'd like you to dedicate these few minutes left to imagine your goals. Your goal, right? The one that you chose. And now you can close your eyes, or you can keep them open, looking to this image. Take a deep, deep breath. And imagine that you are in a theater, watching a movie about you achieving your goal. And the film starts right now. What are you seeing? Is there anybody with you? Is there a calendar that you can check with which date is it? What are you wearing? Winter clothes? Summer clothes? What are you hearing? Can you hear sounds or voices? Are they telling anything to you? Let's make this scene even more clear. Add colors. Add smells. Add a song. Add a reminder. Be conscious about what you are feeling right now. What is the feeling of achieving your goal? Keep that emotion in your heart. The emotion of you achieving your goal. This movie will be in your memory from now on. And if your goal is a memory, it means it has already happened. Because this is a memory of the future. When you are ready, you can open your eyes and come back here. Congrats, guys, because your goal has already started to come true. And this is what I have for you today. This is my QR code, website, email. And thank you so much for being here, being with me. And I'm going to stop sharing right now. And I need to understand where. And then I think we can talk a little bit, right?
Sorry, I'm a little bit speechless. I don't have much to add in. I was enjoying that last one.
Okay. I'm trying to read something here. She's helping us to choose a goal that can help other goals to be achieved. This is very wise. Goals become reality. Discipline requires time management, or time management requires discipline. Either way, we can increase our discipline, can't we? Thanks, Adrian. I love the slides and designs. Awesome work. Thank you. Agree. Great experience with the imaginative movie. All right. Great presentation with great explanation of the power and importance of goals. Thanks, Darko. I hope you all feel closer to your goal right now. And I would suggest you to spend some time in a vision board. A vision board is a really powerful tool, really powerful. When you are doing that, choosing the pictures and images, you are living, experiencing your objectives. And then you keep seeing that.
If you're like me at all, high discipline, high logic, and good at writing out plans, perhaps splitting goals down into lower chunks, all in a logical fashion, that's great. So if you're just doing it all logically and high discipline and stuff, great. You're going really, really fast, but you're only using half of the engine. By activating the imagination and that creative visualization, it doesn't matter how much you can do just using logic and good systems. If we're not using creativity, visualizations, this kind of stuff, we're not firing on all engines, you know?
Yeah.
Question.
On the vision board, do you choose only the goals for the year for the vision board, or can it be a mix of 1 year goal and long-term goal? You know, 10-10, this is your vision board. You put there whatever you want to put there. If you feel like putting a long-term goal, the TEDx, it was a long-term goal and it was there. And see, so what happened? They called me to give a TEDx. So no problem. Put everything that you feel that is going to, that's going to make you feel alive. That's what you want to. Feel joy. These vision boards for you to feel joy when you look at it. How not to fail into How not to fall into route by doing important and urgent tasks and get them motivated in the end, as it might get boring.
It's very easy to fall into a rut doing the not so important things, and life often throws all the less important things in front of us, doesn't it? So how do we make sure we don't fall into a rut doing the lower stuff, Chris, and focus on the most important?
Guys, I truly believe we have control of our lives. I truly believe we have control of what we want to do, not want to do. Nobody's going to convince me that you are in Instagram and, oh my God, I forgot of my important objective. We know exactly what we are doing. If you are not getting there, try to think, what is between me and my goal that is keeping me in this familiar, comfortable zone place? It's very easy to blame other people, to blame the problems, to blame COVID. We are always blaming. We are always creating what Tony Robbins called comfort problems, self-imposed problems. Oh, I cannot stop like doing things that are urgent, doing things to everybody. Yes, you can. Try one day, try once, experience that, and you are going to see that, yes, you can do it.
I'm not sure if it's human nature, but we all work for someone or we work for ourselves. So our calendar will get full. Our days will get filled. And if we have big gaps and nothing to do, well, it'll get filled with Netflix or watching a movie or twiddling our thumbs. So we've got to make sure that we schedule the important things first. So we've got to schedule it first. Otherwise, other things will take it away.
I
Or
think
maybe-
Marina's question is about how not to, when we doing the important thing and the urgent thing, especially the important thing, it's important, but sometimes it's boring. Then we cannot get into the end because it's too boring. Just stop somewhere in between. How can we make sure that we get to the end, finish what we started, which is important? Get motivated, not really get boring and demotivated at the end.
Okay.
So what she says, like,
things? Why are you doing boring things?
It's important, but it's boring.
Important for someone else.
Can I explain my question?
oh yeah, please, Marina. Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes there are goals that you need to achieve for your career perspective. They will advance you, but as you're doing it, the process takes long, and sometimes it gets boring. So it kind of like closer to the end, you kind of start to hesitate, and for example, I want to do the 3D rendering, I want to do the photography, photoshopping, and all of this kind of things, but technicalities get in the way, and you kind of start to kind of lower the pace, and start to kind of fall out. So that was my question, basically.
I would ask you, is there a way for you to add some pleasure to it? Once I was coaching a guy, was like the guy that works with Jedi. I forgot his name. I was in a coaching session here. Yeah. Wilson. And he said that he had to do a lot of bureaucratic work to get something from the Singapore government to help them, blah, 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 blah. And he was really like demotivated. And I said, what do you like to do? What would make you like that? And he said, I like to teach. I like to share. And I said, can you share with somebody what you are learning from all these things that you need to read that are so boring? He said, yeah, I have some friends that would be interested. I have some friends that I can just finish and go to the WeChat and talk to them. And I'm sure that they are going to be happy to hear that I am doing their job. So he turned it something boring to something that gives him pleasure. That's to share what he is learning. You see, it's an example, using your creativity to turn something that is important in something that also can give you pleasure.
What you were saying is correct. Everything that you said, the lesson from the beginning to the end, is correct for motivation and manifesting.
Your microphone is off.
Adrian, you're on mute. Yeah.
Peter, can you make sure you turn your other speaker off because the sound's looping around? We want to hear it's just looping again.
Marina, my husband here want to tell you. He's not telling you because if he opens his mic, it's going to interfere in mine. He said that you could look to the long-term goal instead of focusing on the short, boring term goals.
Can
So
I
if
add
you look,
something? Sorry.
yeah, sure.
It's because I relate to Marina's question because that happens to me a lot all the time. And earlier this year, I was reading a book and I read that when we need to do boring stuff to improve our creativity. I don't know if that's true, but I started thinking about it. And I actually started doing boring stuff when I was for a long time seeing my computer and like doing whatever work related or something that I like. And then I just stopped to go for a walk with my dog or whatever and not doing anything else, just doing something boring. And it actually helps me. I don't know if it helps me because I started believing in it, but it actually started helping me. So I transformed boring stuff into something that helps me to be more creative. So maybe that can help you. I don't know. And also another thing that helps me a lot is to divide the tasks into much smaller tasks, like really small. Like I don't know, I want to win a prize. So I really divide into really tiny bits. So, I don't know, like I will learn something about those prizes for 10 minutes a day, because then I don't get frustrated. I know that I will do that, and that helps me a lot. Maybe that can help you to divide it into really small tasks. Start small, and then if you feel comfortable, you the next week you say, okay, now I'm going to study for 20 minutes, and then you this helps me a lot. I don't know, maybe it can help you as well.
Yeah, that's a good advice. Yeah. Because you think like, yes, I wanna move to Europe, but let's start small and try to understand what's the first step. Go there.
You want to try again, Peter? Peter, you want to try again?
He's not. I think he's not there. He's there, Peter. I think he's taking a nap. Okay. Nobody else want to share something? Now we have two Peters. Okay. So 2 minutes to 8, and you have another workshop after this one, right, Adrian?
No. There was one before. That's it for the night. But hey, there's various different ways to look at the question before, but it's a really important thing. You know, sometimes in life there's things we might need to do, but we might find them boring. So I just wrote a little summary of what Lewis, Chris, and Fernando said. So there are ways to get through those things if they're boring. There's 4 examples there, one that was showed by Chris, Lewis, and Fernando, but there's many more. So if you're trying to accomplish a goal and there's some boring stuff or some troubling stuff or some unimportant stuff, don't let that get in the way. Keep your eye on the prize, have your prize up on your vision board, have it next to you as Chris shared. Use the visualization part, create some habits, build your discipline, 21-day theory, as in repeating over and over, so that the new things you do become familiar. probably, as Chris kind of said in a couple of ways, get yourself set up by creating more positive habits. Not necessarily say to hit a weight goal, but to get in the habit of setting goals, or to get in the habit of waking up consistently at a better time, or scheduling. So a great goal might just be to start scheduling, or a great goal might be to start, you know, looking at your vision board every day, or start prioritizing the important things. And once you stick to it for maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks, 21 days, your new comfort zone will be formed. And each month you can expand, and who knows, maybe 2, 3 months, you'll just be doing 70% important things. And you've got groups like this, and you can get other people from here around you, and you can share your goal with them. Another one of the key points, sharing your goals with the people around you and setting yourself up for more success in 2021, because you only have one shot at this year. Darko?
I want to thank Chris to this wonderful presentation. One thing which catch up my mind and my attention was the question, who are the person you will become after achieving the goal? So that is very powerful because it works on identity level. When I achieve the goal, I will become, for sure, I will change my role in the life.
Yeah.
For example, if we are looking for some long-term goals, become a parent. So if this is a goal, after achieving that, this is your new identity, your new parent, new person. And thank you for sharing this.
I love that thought too. Yes. I learned that from Tony Robbins.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you, Darko. Huh?
Thank you all for being here. Well, we wrap up on time. So I want to thank you, Chris. Thank you very much for sharing. If anybody would like to share around, we're going to answer an important question from Lewis. We'll stay around for another maybe 5 or 10 minutes, but for those that need to run, do feel free to check out. Thank you all very much for coming. Thanks for the extra time, Chris.
Yeah, let's have dinner, guys.
Dinner time.
Oh,
good night, everybody. Dinner
in Australia, it's already
Brazil,
10, right? Yeah, it's already 10. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you all for coming. Thank you very much, Chris. Good night for now.
Thank you, Adrian.